So yesterday, while we were busy thinking about the protest, another news broke. There was an interview that was conducted where PSquare, that is Rudeboy, one of the twins, there are two, the Nigerian duo of the identical twin brothers, Peter Okoye and Paul Okoye. All right. So the person that actually came to talk was Paul. Paul is known as the Rudeboy. Okay. So during the interview, he kind of spilled the tea on what has been going on between him and his twin brother, Peter Okoye. All right. And how Peter arrested him and his brother, and they, took them to EFCC. All right. And what was the offense? The offenses was that number one, misappropriation of funds. 2, scamming. 3, fraudulent practices. These are heavy, very heavy accusations, if you may ask me. Okay. So he said he got himself, but before he even got to the EFCC office, that they had already printed out all, the statement of his accounts, everything was on their table. And so when he got there, he only answered all the questions, they asked him and all that. And then they asked him to go, that they would keep on with their investigations. And at the end of the day, they discovered that all the accusations were just not in existence, right? So, and when he came back, he expected his brother to at least say, "I'm sorry. Maybe it was a mistake, or my assumptions, were wrong." But nothing of sort, came by. So, and I want us to recall that these music brothers, these identical twin brothers, came back together in 2021 after their first misunderstanding in 2016. And somehow, while I was watching the video yesterday, I was like, is it that my brain is playing pranks, or what I'm saying is right, or what I'm saying is not right? Because I could still remember very clearly when Peter came on the social media and accused Rudeboy's wife of being the major problem that they've had in their family. In fact, that since she came, things have never been the same. She has destroyed the relationship he had with his brother. He has destroyed their relationship. He has destroyed everything that they hold there. And it was ringing that it was Ifeoma that was actually destroying the family. So when he was speaking yesterday, I was like, wait a minute. Am I hallucinating, or is it that something is not right with me? Because I was very certain that it was either Paul or Peter that wrote a long epistle about how Ifeoma tried to destroy them. Now, Ifeoma is out of the way. They are legally divorced, right? So, does it mean it wasn't actually Ifeoma that was doing this? Or does it mean that all along there has been that suspicion, So I just don't know. But I want us actually to watch the video, the interview, and then when we get back, maybe if you don't know how these people started, we'll have to start from the beginning to tell this story. But I want you first to watch this interview, and then we'll continue from there. All right.
What happened this year? I was invited by the EFCC. A repetition against me and my other brother. And I did not expect, I never thought it would come to this part. I thought it was just music thing. Then next thing, people are telling me, what did you do? Somebody saying you're going to go to jail 20 years. They're going to lock you up. What did I do? Okay, I got there. Okay, what is it? They told me everything. They've already printed all my account statement, everything, put it on the table. I explained this. First of all, what entered my mind? What if I was a bad person? I'm even doing one dubious like a Yahoo boy. I saw this guy don't just finish me. But I took it. Then they started investigation. I was there. That was the kind of question they started asking myself. I wasn't comfortable anymore. I said, what is this? Then, when I knew it was a bit kind of serious, was when I said, you have to get the shorty, you have to get the lawyer, you have to get this. I said,
Whoa.
what?
Whoa.
Okay,
Whoa.
I did everything.
Whoa.
Then, what then happened? 1 month ago, they called me, they called him, they called other brother. Say, first of all, we have to say that after all investigation, Paul is innocent, first, and Paul is cleared. Everything you accuse him of, we've done an investigation, no. And what was this thing? It's a lifestyle. I've worked so hard. I'm a very good business person. I save. So there's a difference between when you want to pay somebody and say, okay, he wants to buy this thing. How much? 200k? Take blank check. But what about I don't they buy? Put that from this is my account. All of a sudden, he went back to claim something that took us to almost 2006-7. Then only for me to be excited telling me, explain how you have 200, they gave you 200,000, did not give you. And let us start tracing it to where he bought the vehicle. And I already told him this is the reason. So now after they told you every time the truth came out that I was innocent, what would you do if you're doing? What the next thing you do? I'm sorry.
Simple.
I didn't know.
Simple. So there was no I'm sorry from your brother?
Never. So, I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying it, but because the fact that this thing is on the EFCC and is already out in the public, otherwise, don't forget I'm still working with brands. If I don't clear it out, it will affect me.
You lose them, yeah.
So the same way you took it out there.
If you've been their fan for a very long time, you will agree with me that they've come a long way. But it's very, very unfortunate that this is happening at this time, right? So this PSquare were a Nigerian duo of identical twin brothers, Peter Okoye and Paul Okoye. I've already said that, they were born in 1981. In Plateau State. That's where they were born, Jos in Plateau State. So they produced and released their albums through Square Records. So it's possible that was where they got this their PSquare, unique name. So in December 2011, they signed a record deal with Akon's Convict music label. Please, if you didn't get it correct, forgive me about that. In May 2012, they signed a record distribution deal with Universal Music's South African branch. On 25th September 2017, numerous media outlets reported that the group disbanded. It was like a rumor. Kuti Jews also carried it. Most people knew. Some people were not. For someone like me, I didn't believe anything there, all right? But the reports about a breakup surfaced after Peter reportedly sent a termination letter to the group's lawyer. So prior to this report, the duo disbanded in 2016, supposedly over a disagreement about the role of their manager. So PSquare actually began in St. Murumba Secondary School, a small Catholic school in Jos, Plateau State, Nigeria. Peter and Paul joined their school music and drama club where they began singing, dancing, and mimicking songs by MC Hammer, Bobby Brown, and Michael Jackson, right? They later formed an a cappella quartet called MMMPP. That's M. Clef, aka Itamar, Michael, Melvin, Peter, and Paul. So drawing inspiration from their music idol, Michael Jackson, they began break dancing. That was how the break dancing came about. They formed the group called Smooth Criminals in 1997. They dropped M. Clef from the group, all right, from the group MMMPP, which later was changed to MMPP PP because one person was out, right? So the artistic talent and precise dance routine soon made them a household name in the city of Jos, where they performed at school functions and other occasions. Later in 1999, Peter and Paul returned to music school to develop their skills on the keyboard, drums, bass, and rhythm guitar. Their work includes the soundtracks for a number of films like Toby, Mama Sunday, Moment of Bitterness, and Evers River. Later in 1999, they applied to the University of Abuja to study business administration. Their Smooth Criminals disbanded when its members left to various other universities. So subsequently, Peter and Paul formed their own group, variously called Double P, P and P, and the P's, until they eventually settled on PSquare. All right. So they were managed by Bayo Odusami, aka Haweti, a seasoned concert promoter and the CEO of Adroits Nigeria Limited. In 2001, PSquare won the Grab the Mic competition, and hence Benson and Hedges sponsored their debut album titled Last Night, which was released under Timbuk2 music label. PSquare was also nominated as Most Promising African Group in the Cora Awards 3 months after the release of their debut album. They eventually won the 2003 Amen Award for Best R&B Group. In 2005, they released their second album, Get Squared under their own label, Square Records. So this album was marketed nationwide by T-Joe Enterprises, although they were still managed by Howard T of Android Nigeria Limited. The video for the second album held the #1 position on the MTV Base chart for 4 straight weeks. The group performed with artists like Guinea Wine and Sean Paul Akon. Late in 2007, they released their best-selling album so far, Game Over, which sold 8 million copies worldwide. In 2009, PSquare released their 4th studio album, Danger. The album features collaborations with Two-Face Idibia, Jay Martins, and Frenzy. The first single, called Danger, is a hip-hop song with cutting synths and a frog bass bass line, similar to an Eminem song. The video affirms this with the presence of clowns and staggered movement in front of the camera, reminiscent of comical videos by Eminem. They are also known for the close resemblance which the twins have to American R&B singer Usher Raymond. On the 4th of April 2010, PSquare were named the Artist of the Year at the Cora Awards in Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso, where they were in London for a concert at the Troxy, and they will receive a sum of $1 million as the award winners in Ebonyi City. On 29 August 2014, PSquare released a single track featuring a top American artist, T.I., which PSquare titled Eje Ajo, produced and co-written by VTech. Alright? Eje Ajo official video featuring T.I. was also released 29 August 2014 on both TV stations, radio stations, and web blogs. On 14 September 2014, PSquare released their 6th studio album titled Double Trouble. On 8 October 2015, PSquare were given Range Rover SUVs from Globacom as Glow ambassadors for their sponsorship of the #Dance with Peter TV radio entertainment program. The program brings dancers from around the world to showcase their talents for prizes. On 24 April 2016, news of how Globacom decided not to renew its ambassadorship deal with the duo, albeit renewing the contract with other ambassadors, hit the news. This was as a result of a fallout between the company's representatives and Peter, one half of the PSquare twins, during the grand finale of the Dance with Peter Talent Hunt show. The duo were reported to have handled most of their production / beat making in-house. The band has been faced with many controversies for their habit of sampling Western songs and popular hits in their records. They have addressed the issue many times in interviews as well as the lyrics of their songs. Technically speaking, PSquare does more in the line of reconstructing the drum patterns, chord progressions, or lyrics of the sampled songs as against actually cutting parts of the song and directly sampling to their production. This accounts for the largely electronic feel of their sound. So some of the songs which have been called up on this account include Get Squared, Game Over, Danger, and others. PSquare attracted headlines because they reportedly turned irate when they were notified by organizers in the middle of their performance at the Guinness show about some change in plans which would affect the length of their performance and that of the next act. Two-Face Idibia. So as reported by news sites vanguardnigeria.com, the information apparently stirred up resentment as Peter immediately said, "I don't know why anytime a foreign artist comes to Nigeria, the show organizers want to treat us like slaves in our country." Although initially they confused their performance, but midway through, they threw their microphones to the ground and angrily stormed out of the stage saying, "We're leaving. They don't want Two-Face to come on stage." They were said to have immediately left the premises of the show, but after intervention of the show organizers, they came on stage later with Two-Face for a performance, but later on received an apology. Paul Okoye was involved in a paternity scandal with a lady named Elshama Egbanoy. The lady claimed Paul impregnated her. Paul denied the pregnancy and went for a paternity test. The duo had a difference in opinion regarding what Peter perceived as a lopsidedness in individual inputs of song, which was getting featured in their joint albums, with Paul getting a lion's share of his songs selected. So this led to Peter refusing to do anything PSquare for weeks. Peter relocated, taking his wife and kids from the mansion they both lived years and accommodated their extended family in. A lawyer was also involved to help split their fortune as they were both involved in joint ventures over the years. So after dating for 7 years, Peter Okoye got engaged to his longtime girlfriend, Titilola Loretta Omotayo. Omotayo is a marketing representative. The couple are already parents to son Cameroon and daughter Elena. On 17 November 2013, the two held their traditional wedding at the Ark in Lekki, Lagos, Nigeria. Public figures who attended the wedding include Aliko Dangote, Emmanuel Adebayo, Kate Henshaw, Genevieve Naji, Ruki Sanda, Folorusha Lekija, Mehdi, Toki Makenwa, Dr. C, Don Jazzy, and Karen Iho, among others. Paul Okoye met Anita Isama in 2004 while attending the University of Abuja. Their son Andre was born 11 April 2013 in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. The couple married on Saturday, 22nd March 2014 at the Aztec Arkham Event Center in Port Harcourt. So in January 2014, the Okoye brothers bought mansions next door to one another in Atlanta. The duo has gone solo and Pete Okoye now performing as Mr. P, while Paul Okoye performs as Rudeboy or King Rudy. So with this, you will agree with me that their journey has been, filled with twists and turns, because it's not so as though they have been going with that. And if you watch, I kept mentioning Peter. I don't know whether to say Peter is a troublesome one or that Peter is the one who is not very patient. I wouldn't know. But it's amazing how two brothers from the same womb, used and placenta, will come out and start shading or start trying to inflict, pain on each other. That is very, very amazing, and I can't wrap my head around what they said is a problem. Obviously, the problem is money, and can this be solved? Of course, yes, but except the two parties decide to come together to resolve their differences, that might be very impossible. Thank you very much for listening to this long gist. It has been there anyways, but we're just trying to, refresh your mind so you remember that this has happened and this is happening again. And I think this time around, I don't think it's going to be the same. Well, never say never, because anything can also happen. Thank you for staying with us. And please do well by subscribing, by liking, by also dropping your comments, so the algorithm will have the chance of promoting our content to a wider audience. Thank you, and God bless you. Bye for now.